Total TV humiliation for Prince Harry. Revenge is a dish best served cold. Oh boy, I've been telling you for months now that when Prince William finally deals with Prince Harry, it will be brutal, elegantly executed and unforgiving. And here we are. Now, following Prince Harry's many indulgent and traitorous TV appearances on Netflix and elsewhere, his older, wiser, calmer brother William said, "Hold my beer." Now, the Prince of Wales' appearance on the Apple TV Plus series The Reluctant Traveller, hosted by the wonderful comedy actor Eugene Levy, was not just a triumph of television. It wasn't just a triumph of royal protocol. It wasn't just a triumph of posh celebrity integrity. It was a cruise missile aimed directly at Prince Harry. Now, I think it was Michelle Obama who said, "When they go low, we go high." And that's exactly what William has done with this discreet, charming, effortlessly natural, authentic, very real interview in which he demonstrates that he is 100 times the man that Harry will ever be. I was blown away by this show. Let's take a look at some of the highlights.
It sounds like the monarchy will be shifting in a slightly different direction.
I think it's safe to say that change is on my agenda. Change for good. And I embrace that and I enjoy that change. I don't fear it. That's the bit that excites me, is the idea of being able to bring some change. Not overly radical change, but changes that I think need to happen. I want to create a world in which my son is proud of what we do. In a world and a job that actually does impact people's lives for the better. That is caveated with, I hope we don't go back to some of the practices in the past that Harry and I had to grow up in. And I'll do everything I can to make sure we don't regress in that situation. Yeah, I think stuff to do with family overwhelms me quite a bit. Worry or stress around family side of things, that does overwhelm me quite a bit. But in terms of, doing the job and things like that, I don't feel too overwhelmed by that. Not now anyway. When I was younger, yeah, there are bits that overwhelm you, a bit like, whoa, are we actually doing this? Is this sort of happening? But with time and age, I think you feel a bit more settled in that side of things, and you go, actually, I could do that.
Now, this was a serious, mature, very grown-up Prince William, but also there were so many highlights, so many moments of hilarious humour, which I'll take you through. But ultimately, the programme, for all of its 30 minutes in duration, is an extraordinary public relations triumph for William and a devastating blow for Harry in his bitter war of attrition against his own family. I've got to tell you that in football terms, it is Prince William 1, Harry 0. Now, the contrast between the two boys is wild because William comes across as very confident, very comfortable in his own skin. So first of all, he's quite a quirky character. We think of William as the more serious of the brothers, quite regal, quite stately, and very sensible. Captain sensible, if you like. But it's great because when this guy, Eugene Levy, this comedy actor that's interviewing him, when he's meeting him at Windsor Castle, first of all, William is late. Turns out William is not punctual. Praise the Lord, he's human. And isn't it amazing that William has allowed us to see the fact that he's not punctual in a programme over which he clearly has full editorial control. There's no way that the second in line to the throne, the United Kingdom's next king, isn't going to have some kind of editorial input on this programme. And yet it stays in the edit that he's late and that he's got a reputation for being late. By the way, I know why he's late, because he's the Prince of Wales. He's got endless engagements. He's got paperwork. He's got emails. He's got meetings. He's got a wife. He's got a father. And he hasn't really got a brother, because that's a long story. We'll come to that. He's got 3 young kids. So he's pulled in every direction. He's a busy guy. Of course he's late. But I love the fact that he allows that to go on camera that he's late. And he turns up at Windsor Castle, which is, I think, the oldest castle that has remained in use in the world. It's 1,000 years old. It's a great bit of history. And he turns up. He appears in shot on an electric scooter, zooming around the place. Now, I've got to say, I love William, and I'm thinking, where's your helmet? William, please. You have responsibilities. You're a father, and you are the Prince of Wales. And not just that, by the way, but we can't lose you. And then, I don't know, something, God forbid, happens to the kids. And then Harry becomes king of the United Kingdom. And Meghan becomes, oh, didn't you know I'm not Meghan Markle anymore? I'm Queen Meghan. I think at that point, the whole country would just close down. That would be it. Everybody in Britain would emigrate. And I do hope. America's a nice big country. I wonder whether you would just take every British person. We could all go in a few ships, or maybe that bridge that I was talking about building between the United Kingdom and America. But we're out. If Meghan becomes queen, it's over. Anyway, but I'm surprised that William's not wearing a helmet. But there you go. He's quite carefree and a little wild and a bit naughty and a bit quirky. And what a way to get around. It's great that we can see him on camera, turning up a few minutes late and on the scooter. So this is one of those electric, it's a two-wheel thing with an electric motor, and it's quite fast. And he zooms around. The reason being, the Windsor estate is enormous, and he's got a property. He lives on the Windsor estate. He's not in the castle, but he's on the estate with his family. And so he uses this to get around. He then reveals that there's a puncture in the scooter, which he's a bit embarrassed about. Just how real, how natural is this guy? Do you think if there was a documentary about Harry and Meghan that they would reveal any imperfections whatsoever? Like the fact that they were a couple of minutes late, or that there was a puncture in the tyre of the electric scooter. Not at all. Everything would be airbrushed. There is no puncture in our electric scooter. Everything's perfect. My hair is perfect. My teeth is perfect. My electric scooter is perfect. My husband is perfect. My life is perfect. You're welcome. Flower sprinkles. The contrast between With Love Meghan and the Harry and Meghan documentary on Netflix and this amazing, regal piece of TV is just marked. It is such a difference. It's such a contrast. And it's a wonderful historic document. This show exists now as a significant piece of journalism and living history that will be there forever. A document demonstrating the thoughts, emotions, fears, anxieties, and aspirations of the next king of the United Kingdom. It was educational, it was insightful, it was real, it was authentic, it was three-dimensional, it was funny, it was warm, it was all of the things that William is. He is all of those things, and I thought I liked William. I thought I really liked William. I love William. My head is falling off at having watched this show. My head is, it could be a two spectacles moment. That is how excited I am about having seen this Is it three? Is it three? Is it a three spectacle moment? I think it is. I think it's the three. Because I'm sorry to say that I'm excited. I'm giddy like a child. Because we've had one-way propaganda from Harry and Meghan for years and years and years. We had the book Spare, we had the Oprah interview, we had the Harry and Meghan documentary, we've had the podcast, we've had With Love Meghan, we've had everything. And it's just been vicious, vile, negative, destructive, libelous, slanderous, obnoxious, rude, entitled, spoiled, and many other such adjectives. And I hadn't realized how much it had affected my mental health and my frame of mind, being fed this endless stream of BS from the Markles of Montecito. Montecito! And I realized how, have you noticed how, for example, like with let's say with alcoholics or heavy drinkers, that they drink so much, they get accustomed to it, don't they? So that when they have 10 whiskeys, there's no effect. They're as sober as anything. They need more and more to have the same effect. That's how it is with Harry and Meghan's BS. I have consumed so much of it that I hadn't realized just how awful it all is. And then I spend half an hour in the company of Prince William, and it was just such a mollifying experience, like a warm bubble bath, and just as cleansing and it detoxified me from those two over in California. And I'm giving you the full detail. We've got a full breakdown of the interview, what was said, what the significance is, but the headline. Now, this may surprise you, but although I'm pretty lean these days, a few years back, I was a little on the chunky side. I lost weight the hard way, calorie counting, cutting carbs, hours in the gym, and trust me, it is no fun. And the bad habits creep back in. Well, this time round, to keep the dad bod at bay, I'm using Hypnosio, a revolutionary self-hypnotherapy app that tackles the root causes of weight gain. Instead of obsessing over diet and exercise, which rarely works long term, Hypnosio harnesses the power of your subconscious to permanently change your behavior. Guided sessions on any device help you to break emotional eating, reduce stress, and build a healthier relationship with food. Think of it as a virtual gastric band or a psychological dose of Ozempic without the terrifying needle and without the side effects. So, no calorie counting, no food diaries, no giving up your favorites, and it works. Users lose twice as much weight as traditional methods, and 94% of people, that is 94%, keep it off. So use my link in the description and pinned comment to grab 15% off your first subscription. What's not to lose except those unwanted pounds? It's just about what a wonderful human being this guy is, and how I thought I liked William, and I thought I really liked him. I love the guy. I love him. I have a feeling of love towards William. And my goodness, that Catherine, obviously she's a stunning lady and she's a great lady, but isn't she a lucky one as well? OMG! And what I love is that this is a completely elegant response to the hundreds of hours of vitriol from Harry and Meghan. It's just a sweet little 30-minute show. And I'm going to take you through what motivated it, why William's done it, and why he did it the way he did it. But it could be four. I think it's 4 pairs of spectacles. But what we're going to do, we're going to disrobe. We're going to disrobe the spectacles. A lot of people want to know who tidies up after the show, and I'll have to tell you it's me. I wouldn't do that to Mrs. Dolan. She's far too busy changing the world whilst I rant and rave about the privileged elite. Right, so let's get to this because it's massive. William is very confident in this show. He looks so good. He's a very, very good looking guy. He's so lean. Isn't he lean? He's chiseled with that slim face, and love the clothes. So he's got this great knitwear. He's got these sweaters. I would definitely wool, maybe cashmere, but an excellent knitwear, perfect for the autumn. I think this was filmed actually in July. It's now October. So, but anyway, it was winter, and this is lovely sort of Oxford shirt, smart chunky sweater, sports jacket, casual slacks like chinos, and just very smart pumps. Very smart sort of casual shoes. He looked great. He looked really, really great. A little tweedy, but not too. He's not gone the full Prince Charles, King Charles. Just a smart, elegant, preppy young man in the prime of life. I will say one thing, which is that he clearly carries the weight of the world on his shoulders, and he is quite serious for large parts of the interview. This is a man who does feel the burden of history and the weight of expectation. This is a man that's been to hell and back. Obviously, number one, because of what Catherine went through and what Charles is going through with their cancer battles. But obviously, the small matter of his traitorous runaway brother causing such damage to the family, such anxiety. And he's lost his grandmother in recent years, his grandfather. I know we all have hard lives, don't we? And in the comments, I love your comments because you tell me about your lives. And many of you, or all of us, will go through hard times. And many of you are going through hard times right now. And some of you have had operations, or you're going to have an operation, or you've bereaved for a loved one, or there's a work problem and there's money issues. people have got problems, addiction. Life is so difficult. And I will just say that it's true for William too. His life is not easy. And you can see that etched in his face. I would say that although he's lean and handsome, I would say he's a touch older looking than he actually is. There are creases in that face, little lines from years of worry and anxiety. I do think he worries. I think he's a bit of a stress monkey. But at the same time, that is his journey. And based upon the things that he said to Eugene Levy, his interviewer, I feel that he's getting peace with a lot of those things. Much of it to do with his childhood. We'll get into all of that. But he's definitely, he has got this burden. And there is a weight to William and a heaviness. And that's what makes me love him even more. Because I can see that it hasn't been easy and it's not easy. And I've got no doubt that the hideous public relations sniping from Montecito, California, doesn't do him any favors whatsoever. But what it demonstrates, and I've been saying this for a long time, is that when William becomes king, he will take Harry down and he will take him down to Chinatown. I mean, Harry's life, when William becomes king, which I hope is a long time from now, Harry's life will not be worth living because William will be on the throne and he'll have his crown and he'll have all of the embroidered finery and the jewels, the priceless jewels. And Harry will be sitting there at home in Montecito with a Wendy burger, right? Probably stoned, right? Probably, absolutely baked, having fallen off the wagon from his years of misadventures with illicit substances. Sitting there with a Wendy burger going, oh gosh, my brother, he's become king now, such a drag. I'm so jealous of him. He looks all smart and everything. And here I am, sitting in Montecito, California, waiting for the next instruction from Meghan Markle, who is my wife. She calls me my husband, which I find a bit weird. So, William is already in a frame of mind of getting ready to become king. And this is an interesting flex, this TV show, because it demonstrates that William is very patient. He's allowed all of the attacks from California to come in his direction, the family's direction. All he's really said is going into church a couple of years ago, we are very much not a racist family, was a line he said. And otherwise, he's kept his counsel, a dignified silence. So this demonstrates that when the time is right, William will judge that, I'm going to deal with this. I'm going to deal with my younger brother. This is a guy, don't forget when they had their punch up, as demonstrated in Spare, that William, and I would never advocate violence on this show, but William gave him a right hook and floored him, and Harry just wound up in a dog bowl, which is the perfect, most appropriate place for him to wind up. And that's a metaphor for their relationship because William will always have the upper hand. He's the eldest. He's going to be king. He's the wisest. He's the better looking. He's got more money. He's just, he's lean. I mean, Harry is such a porker these days. Turned into such a big, bloated old bunny, hasn't he? Look at that. Oh, I love the Wendy burger. Can't stop eating them. I think I'm comfort eating because I'm trapped in a loveless marriage. It's not really a marriage. More like a hostage situation. Humpy dumpy dumpy dump. Poor Prince Harry, world's least happy millionaire. Well done, Meghan, you're amazing. So, William knows what he's doing. William has waited this long, and he has decided that this is the moment, and he's done it in an elegant way on his own terms. So, first of all, he did not take Netflix. He's not going to pollute his brand by appearing on the same platform as his traitorous brother. So Netflix is out of the question. And he also doesn't give the interview to the rather rapacious TV reporters in the United Kingdom, who in my view are conducting a vicious campaign against him and Catherine, with all of this nonsense about tension between William and his father. How dare you? They are so close. Harry got, they say 54 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour with his old man Tops for a quick cup of tea at Clarence's house. via the tradesman's entrance, because Clarence House got the royal entrance, where you go if you're a member of the royal family and you're HRH. And then there is the goods entrance, where the toilet roll goes in, right? You got the toilet paper and the bleach and the floor cleaner, all of the detergents, all that stuff, you know, the mouse traps, the rat poison. Harry goes through that entrance. Harry goes through the rat poison entrance, where the tradesmen go, right? Where the tattooed men of no fixed abode turn up. Go, hello, all right, my old son, I'm here in Clarence House, and I've got rat poison, and I've got detergents, and I've got washing up liquid, and dishwasher capsules. I've got a load of goods for the king in Clarence House. And the courtiers are like, well, thank you and good morrow, good sir. Please use the tradesman's entrance, which is officiated by the plumbers, the electricians, and the other tradespeople, painters and decorators, and folks with delivered goods, including the Amazon. King Charles is very fond of the Amazon. He finds it very efficient. In fact, King Charles is so wealthy, he has Amazon Prime, which means that you can basically just be looking at your phone at 10 in the morning, think of a thing that you'd like to own, and 11 seconds later, the doorbell rings and there it comes. That is the magic of Amazon Prime. The king is very fond of it. So in you come to the tradesman's entrance with your rat poison and your lavatory paper and your detergents. And but just behind you is Prince Harry. He'll have to wait. Rat poison first, then Prince Harry. In you come, Harry, through the tradesman's entrance, which is dirty. They don't bother cleaning it. It's slippery. And there's oil on the floor and petroleum. It's very rank. It stinks down there. And that's Harry's entrance. So it's quite something that the TV press cook up this idea that there's a froideur between Charles and William, given the fact that Harry gets half an hour in Clarence House having to go in the back door with the tradespeople. All right, me old son. I've got a diesel van. Can I leave it out the front? Can I leave my diesel van out the front and then bring the rat poison and detergent and the toilet roll and all that stuff and the bleach for the toilets? Can I go that way? Yes, park the car at the front. Just in front of Harry's Range Rover is fine. He doesn't go. You might get a parking ticket. He'll have to pay for it this time because he's no longer a serving royal. That'll do him right. So, Harry gets half an hour. William gets 3 days at Balmoral to go hunting with Charles, to go for walks, to go shooting, to drive the Range Rover, to be father and son. So, this vicious sniping from ITV News and Sky and all the rest of it, William's not going to lower himself to that. So he thinks outside the box because he's an intelligent man. And he goes for Apple TV. Why does he go for Apple TV? He goes for Apple TV, well, because Apple is one of the greatest brands in human history. Apple is a brand of integrity. Look at the iPhone. Integrity, quality, expertise. Apple is everything that's great about America. Like ingenuity, invention, convenience. It's just, Apple is a glittering jewel of a company. And they've got this TV network with big shows on it that are so popular. And so he's decided, I'm not going to lower myself with Netflix and all the Harry and Meghan documentaries and the crazy woke TV stuff that's on Netflix at the moment. Crazy woke. And he's like, I'm not going to do that. Because it's what Michelle Obama said. When they go low, we go high. And he's gone to Apple TV, which is, it's the most refined and classy TV network out there. And Tim Cook has no doubt spoken to Harry and may have been instrumental in making this happen. Tim Cook probably William. Mustn't call William Harry. Tim Cook is no doubt pivotal in having secured the services of William. He may have called him on an iPhone. And I understand that Tim Cook is Texan. Hi there, I'm Tim Cook. Is that His Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales? Yes, I am the Prince of Wales. My name is Prince William, and I'm going to be king. And my younger brother is a right royal numpty. And I agree with everything Mark Dolan says from the Mark Dolan show about him. How may I help you? Well, here at Apple, we like to make the best products out there, including iPhones, iMacs, and tablets. It's called an iPad. Unfortunately, they're very good. They're very expensive. They're like $8 million each, but everyone just pays, which is kind of clever of us. But we also make premium content, and we like to offer you an interview with Eugene Levy, who's a funny Canadian. What say you? Are you in? You're going to come to Apple? By the way, that's exactly how Tim Cook speaks. I know because he's my father. Not all of that anecdote is true. So, but I don't know whether Tim Cook's been on the phone. By the way, Tim Cook, the most successful CEO in the world. Steve Jobs was the founder of Apple and created the iPhone. He's one of my heroes. Did you know that since Steve Jobs passed and Tim Cook took over, which is the toughest thing? How do you follow Steve Jobs? Tim Cook, the value of Apple has quadrupled since the passing of Steve Jobs. He's a great businessman with perfect grey hair, always correctly brushed. Apparently he gets up at like 5 a.m., goes to the gym, works out, and he's one of those perfectly disciplined people and very wealthy, and rightly so. But I don't know whether Tim Cook reached out to William. I don't know whether the wonderful comedy actor Eugene Levy reached out, who is wonderful in this show, because you know what? He's funny, he's got a dry sense of humor, and he lets William talk, which many hosts don't do. But he lets William talk, and and the connection between the two of them is quite spectacular. But what I suspect has happened is that William has obviously always got invitations to appear on the media, and William has decided that he would go for Apple TV Plus. And he reveals when he gets off his electric scooter at Windsor Castle, he admits to Eugene Levy that he's a big fan of his work. Eugene Levy was a very funny actor in a movie called American Pie, which was a sort of outrageous, raunchy teen comedy in the 2000s. And William, once again, demonstrating that he's a real human being, said that he loved those films. They were very naughty. He watched with his mates and he loved them. So he admires Eugene Levy. No doubt he's done his homework. It was the perfect choice, perfect network, perfect interviewer who's not part of the UK media establishment. And I also wonder, I wonder whether William, der Wilhelm, mein Freund Wilhelm, auf die Treppe schnell! I wonder whether William has chosen, not by accident, an American network. I think he's chosen an American television network on purpose. You see, I think that William is a very smart guy, and I don't think William does anything by accident, because this is a guy that has known he was going to be king since he was born. And he's been through a lot in his life, lost his mother, had to be the grown-up brother, sort of semi-guardian to Harry, which is why Harry's traitorous behavior is so unforgivable. And he's become a father, and he's supported Catherine through the cancer. He's an old head on young shoulders, and he's not a flippant personality, and he thinks things through, and he's very strategic. And I just wonder whether he chose an American network on purpose. And I'll tell you for why. Okay. I think he chose an American network on purpose to say, yeah, do you know something? You live in Montecito, California, right? Harry lives in Montecito, California. You are Mr. America now, you know. When you move to the United States, you're basically saying England's rubbish and, you know, I am now the king of California. That's basically the message from Harry's, I've moved to California now. I'm basically American. It's really cool. And I think this is William's way of saying, hold my beer, hold my Budweiser, which is the king of beers. We know that because it says king of beers on every bottle and on every can, which makes it a fact. And William has just said, well, I'm going to be on American TV and I'll be Mr. America and I'll be on the premium network. And let me just tell you that the ratings for the interview that I do with Eugene Levy on Apple TV Plus will be in the tens of millions, and they will be 1 trillion times bigger than the ratings of anything that you two ne'er-do-wells have put out on Netflix. So in a way, what it is, it's William parking his tanks on Harry's lawn and saying, I'm coming to America. Because that's what you do. If you go on Apple TV Plus, well, you're going to America. It's an American TV network. It's global, but it's firmly and robustly American. And so it's a trump card. It's like the game of, poker or whatever, but it's the best hand. It's like, you got Netflix, well, I'll raise you. I've got Apple TV Plus and Tim Cook. Hi, is that Prince Harry? It's Tim Cook here from Texas. It's perfect. Because actually, if William had only appeared on British television, that's William saying, okay, I'm stuck in England, I'm not global, and this is a parochial local figure. No, he's reached out to a major North American star, which is Eugene Levy, and he's reached out to Apple TV Plus, which is an American media juggernaut. And I'm so happy that he did. And it's perfect. And Harry will be watching that show, very unhappy, very furious, very upset. Now, there was no fee for his appearance. This is the other big thing, by the way, is that everything Harry and Meghan have done to attack the royal family was done for dollars. It was all mercenary. And I suspect that the reason why Harry's gone back to Clarence House to see King Charles through the tradesman's entrance with the rat poison and the toilet tissue is because he wants money from King Charles, or is softening his father up for a handout at some point, because Harry is flat broke. But the bottom line is that there was no fee for this appearance. And that, again, is a flex on the part of... There you go. That's a flex. It's a flex on the part of William to not take a fee whilst Harry took millions to destroy the family. And it is my understanding, I spoke to somebody that's an insider in TV who said that they've been told that there was no fee, but that it was agreed a donation would go to charity for William's appearance. And you know what? When I was told that, it didn't surprise me at all. It didn't surprise me that there was no fee, because there's no way that William's going to lower himself to actually invoice for... Because, I mean, how much could William have charged Apple TV Plus and Tim Cook? Harry, it's as much money as you need. Take as much money as you need. We're endless billions here. How much do you want? 10 billion? 20 billion? He could have had as much money. I mean, in all seriousness, he could have commanded a fee of $2 or $3 million quite easily for this. And the rest, 5 million. It would have been a blank check. But he doesn't take the money because that's not his style. But anyway, I wasn't surprised to hear that there was no fee, and I wasn't surprised to hear that there was an agreement to donate a chunk of cash to one of the Prince's favourite charities. But in this show, it was perfect. It was a perfect appearance. And I would recommend that you actually get Apple TV Plus. Just get it for a month, because I do that with all the streaming giants, which is that you take it for a month. Sometimes there's a free trial, but if not, you pay your $10 and watch everything they've got for a month, and then switch it off and remember to unsubscribe. But I promise you it'll be worth it, because there were no family secrets peddled. No one was called racist. No one had their title corrected on camera. Didn't you know I'm not Meghan Markle anymore? I'm Meghan Sussex. No bitterness. No casual remarks about the king's health. Yeah, I don't know how long my dad's got, man. All this appearance did is enhanced the royal family, and that is William all over. So they met, They went across Windsor Castle. They went to the King's drawing room. It was so brilliant. He talked about how when he was at Eton, he'd go and visit his grandma, who, by the way, was Queen Elizabeth. And he'd visit her in the evening because she did the best teas. Isn't that great? And she said, you'd always leave. He said, you'd always leave really well fed by Granny. Isn't that just spectacular? So this is a TV show that makes the royal family look so good and so positive, and it brings back such happy memories of Queen Elizabeth. And that is what Harry's done. William, I always mix their names up, but they're so different. That's what William's done with this show, is he's shown his family in the best light. This is a show that enhances the royal family, if that was even possible, because I love them already. And then everything Harry does is just put them down, squash them, negative. Why? Well, because it's the instructions of Meghan, who's performing a scorched earth policy on the Windsors. So he said he popped over when he was at Eton's college, which is where Harry struggled academically because he's as thick as mince. But William breezed through his GCSEs and his A-levels because he's an absolute genius. So William's at Eton, and he goes over to Windsor Castle for the best teas with his granny. And he talked about his amazing grandfather, Philip, and how hilarious Philip was, which, of course, he was. Beautifully dressed, as I've said. His affection for the Queen. They stand in front of a portrait of the Queen. And then he's really funny with Eugene Levy, because Eugene Levy's like, oh, I wouldn't mind a portrait. And William said, oh, you'd look good as an oil painting. You'd look good in oil, right? Such a dry sense of humor. And he kept teasing Eugene Levy, because Eugene Levy would be like, oh, I wouldn't mind this, I wouldn't mind that. And William was always saying, are you adding to that bucket list of yours? That bucket list is getting longer and longer. And he did a bit of physical comedy, William, when he talked about how his grandmother used to wear these heavy robes, and when it was windy, they'd be billowing around the place. So, the guy he's comfortable in his own skin. He talked about how he gets overwhelmed, not really by the royal stuff, but with family problems, which is a clear message about what he's been through with, obviously, Catherine and Charles, but it's a clear message about Harry as well. And although he does mention Harry once, right, briefly, when he talks about royal protocol and how stiff it was, and when he raises his own kids, he's going to try to let them have normal lives, and when he's king, he's going to have change, and there won't be so much stifling royal protocol, right? That was lovely. But when he said that, he mentioned Harry once, saying Harry and I had to go through a lot when we were kids in terms of the stifling royal protocol. And that's it. That's all Harry gets by way of a fleeting reference, right? No other references to my brother, or anything like that. Because clearly, Harry is persona non grata. And we know we've had it's not my line, it's quoted from a royal insider, that William, and I quote, effing hates his brother. And I'm afraid it comes across not only in the fact that he basically ignores his brother for the whole documentary, but that pain etched in his face that I mentioned, making him such an old head on young shoulders. It kills me what Harry's done to his brother. I mean, what did he do to his grandmother? Did the anguish of worrying about the book spare, did that hasten the demise of the Queen? I don't know. Did it do Prince Philip's health any favours? I doubt it. But it hasn't even been good for William's health. What about Catherine? Did she get more ill because of the stress of the family dynamic and the ridiculous royal soap opera? Anyhow, who knows? But this whole thing was very redemptive for William, because it was his answer to all of that vitriol and the attacks. It was his response to the gaslighting, the viciousness, the lies, the bitterness. He's natural, he's funny, he's warm. In fact, there are 3 words that I'll finish with that perfectly describe William. And it's the 3 words that the wonderful Eugene Levy says about him at the end of their encounter. Eugene Levy describes William as nice, as open, and as human. And those are the 3 things that perfectly capture the essence of William. And those are the 3 things that definitively Harry is not. So excited, so happy about all of that. And I'm delighted to say that I'll be back tomorrow for another big show. So many other stories brewing array. So please like and subscribe. Half of the people that watch the channel don't subscribe. So please do that, because then you've got a seat at the table. You've got voting rights around the boardroom, and you're part of this growing community. And hit the notification bell for any surprise, wonderful little extra videos that pop out here and there. Keep those comments coming. The comments aren't part of the show. They are the show. And I cannot wait to see you for tomorrow. Bye for now. And I can't explain, but it's something about the way you look tonight takes my breath away. It's a feeling I get about you deep inside. Ooh!